The main purpose of this YouTube channel is to provide a number of beginner-level practice pieces arranged for the Yamaha PSR-SX900 keyboard, complete with free downloads for both the arrangement files, sometimes called orchestration files, and the sheet music. For viewers who might be unfamiliar with what a saved arrangement consists of and how to use it on a modern instrument like this, in this video I take you step by step through both the download process as well as the setup procedure on the instrument to make any of my arrangements ready to play. Let's get right to it. I will actually show you two different examples. The first will show the download of an arrangement of 8 or less orchestral parts. The second will show the download of an arrangement that takes advantage of the SX900's ability to create arrangements of an unlimited number of orchestral parts. Both examples are the same in principle, but there's a slight difference between the two in the download as well as the playing procedure when used on the instrument. To begin with, I need to have plugged into my computer a USB flash drive that has been formatted on my instrument. To format a USB flash drive after inserting it into one of the USB receptacles on the instrument, I press the menu button to the right of the touchscreen display twice. I pick the utility item. On the left side of the touchscreen display, I pick storage. I see my inserted USB flash drive listed as one of the storage devices. I pick it. I then touch the Format button. The instrument asks me if I'm sure. I touch Yes. I can go back to the main display window by touching the X button in the top right corner of the screen twice. Continuing, I open a File Manager window on the flash drive. And as you can see, to keep this example simple, it is empty. It is a freshly formatted USB flash drive. My first example, being an arrangement of 8 or less orchestral parts, consists of a single registration bank file. For this demonstration, I will choose my arrangement of the song Long, Long Ago. Note that I am not signed into Google or YouTube at this time. I believe that this might better represent the conditions of your computer. You already know how to get to my channel. So I start with my channel's video page and I select the video Long, Long Ago. Let me pause the video. I scroll down to the text description section and I click on the Show More to expose the download links. The first link is for the registration bank file. That's where all of the various orchestral parts of my arrangement have been stored. Clicking on that link takes me immediately to the file hosting service that I use to share my work. It's called Box.com. If when you do this you see any sign in or sign up buttons, ignore them. To download the file, it is not necessary to have an account or to sign in. There are two download buttons, one at the top of the page and one in the center of the page. I could use either. Let me click on the one in the center. At the bottom of the page, a download bar appears, indicating that the file has been downloaded and deposited into the official download folder on my computer. I left-click on the up arrow to the right of the name Long, Long Ago. And I get a menu. I pick the menu item called Show in Folder. My computer opens up a new File Manager window representing my computer's official download folder with the file that I just downloaded highlighted. I right-click on that file. and I choose Copy from the resulting pop-up menu. The file is now in my computer's clipboard. Let me now bring the window representing my instrument's USB flash drive to the front. I right-click in the empty space and I click Paste in the resulting pop-up menu. The file is now pasted from the clipboard to my USB flash drive. I see the file appear in the window. To keep things simple and to help me so that I don't lose track of what I'm doing in this demonstration, I will now close the window representing my computer's official download folder. I bring my web browser window to the front, and I close the download bar at the bottom by clicking on the X at the far right. I also close the tab in my browser representing Box.com. Now for the sheet music. In the text description section of the video, I click on the appropriate link. Again, a new tab opens up to Box.com. This time, it actually shows me the contents of my file. They are able to do that because it's a standard PDF file. But I want to download it, so I click on the download button at the top. Note that if when you do this, Box.com presents you with a dialog box inviting you to either sign in or start a new account, simply ignore it. Again, it is not necessary to have an account or to sign in to Box.com in order to get my files. My download is reported in the download bar at the bottom of the screen. Again, I activate the Show in Folder menu item. At this point, I can copy the file to a more appropriate location on my computer, or I can immediately open the document simply by pressing the Return key. And I can print it out. I will leave you to do that on your own. I once again close the window on my official download folder. In my internet browser, I close the download bar at the bottom of the screen. I click on this X on the far right, and then I close the tab to Box.com. That's it. I'm done with my first example. I return to my video page on YouTube for my second example, which represents an arrangement of more than 8 orchestral parts. It's my arrangement of the song Camptown Races. As you know, the instrument has only 8 registration buttons, collectively called a registration bank, that are saved as a registration bank file. A single registration bank file can contain no more than what has been assigned to those 8 buttons. To create arrangements of more than 8 orchestral parts, I must create more than one registration bank file. I have done that for my arrangement of Camptown Races. I activate the Camptown Races video, and I stop it. I go to the text description section and I click on the Show More to expose the download links. In the text description itself, I read that this link will download a folder as opposed to a single file. This folder, when downloaded, will contain whatever number of registration bank files my arrangement requires. In this case, my arrangement consists of 15 orchestral parts. Hence, it requires 2 registration bank files. I click on the link. Box.com presents to me the contents of the folder. You see the 2 files, camptown1.rgt and camptown2.rgt. Now this is important. Do not select the files. If you do that, then Box.com will download the files, not the folder. You need the whole folder. So, with the files unselected, I initiate the download operation. I click the download button. The download bar at the bottom of the screen reports a successful download. I select the Show in Folder menu item, and my computer's download folder opens up with the downloaded file highlighted. I see that it is a zipped file. To unzip it, I double-click. Now I see the real or unzipped folder called Camptown Races. I right-click on that folder. I pick Copy from the resulting pop-up menu. I bring the window representing my USB flash drive to the front. I right-click in an empty area. And I pick Paste from the resulting pop-up menu. A folder called Camptown Races now appears in my USB flash drive's window. I can now close my computer's official download folder. I return to my internet browser. I close the download bar at the bottom of the screen. I close the tab representing Box.com. The sheet music is downloaded in exactly the same manner as my previous example. Back in my YouTube video of Camptown Races, I click on the appropriate link. Box.com presents me with the contents of the document. I click on the download button. The download bar at the bottom of the screen reports a successful download of camptownraces.pdf. I click on the up arrow and select the Show in Folder item. I can then save this file to an appropriate place on my computer for future reference, or I can open the document right here and print it. Again, I will leave this for you to accomplish. Well, that's it. I can now close the window to my computer's official download folder. I can close the download bar at the bottom of the screen in my browser. I can close the Browsers tab to Box.com. And I'm done. I now have everything that I need in order to play both arrangements, Long Ago and Camptown Races, on my instrument, which I will demonstrate next. With the USB flash drive containing my downloads inserted into the instrument, I turn my SX900 on. In this presentation, I will not actually show myself playing each of my arrangements. My primary focus here is just to show you the procedure required to set them up on the instrument so that they are ready to play. Note that I have previously cleared my instrument's registration memory. You don't have to do that. I did it this time because I believe that it will make the presentation clearer. You see, all of my registration buttons are off. That is, they are unlit. And the main display reports at the top of the page the name of the current registration memory bank as New Bank. Notice also that there are no numbers following the name New Bank. You'll understand the significance of this shortly. To view my instrument's registration memory storage, I press both registration bank select buttons, the plus and minus buttons, simultaneously. On my instrument, the screen first shows the contents of my instrument's internal user memory. For demonstration purposes, it contains nothing. I select USB 1 on the touchscreen. Bingo! I see my two downloaded arrangements. But look, they each have a different icon. Camptown Races has a folder icon, whereas Long Ago has a file icon. Well, based on what you saw when you downloaded them, that should make sense. The first step in setting up my arrangements to play is to make sure the proper pedal feature is turned on. As you have probably seen from my performance videos in this channel, I design all of my arrangements with the option of using a foot pedal to step through all orchestral changes. You yourself don't have to use a foot pedal. You can play my arrangements by pressing the registration buttons yourself on the front grille at the appropriate times as you play. However, I personally do not have sufficient skill to do that to tempo when fast orchestration changes are required. Hence, I want to use the pedal option. I start by pressing the menu button to the right of the touchscreen. I then pick the registration sequence item. I am presented with the registration sequence display window. Turning this feature on tells the instrument that I no longer want the pedals to invoke their usual global definitions, such as damper for pedal number 1 and possibly organ rotary or sostenido for pedal number 2. Instead, I want the pedals to operate as a switching mechanism for advancing through the various orchestral parts of a previously created formal arrangement in registration memory. That is, I want the pedals to perform a previously defined registration sequence. I see that this feature is currently turned off. I turn it on. I select X in the top right corner of the screen twice to return to my registration memory storage display window. I will now select Long Long Ago, but watch carefully what happens to the registration buttons as I do this. 7 of the registration buttons immediately light up blue. This tells me that the arrangement has been loaded into active registration memory and that it consists of 7 orchestral parts. I close the registration memory storage display window, thus returning to the main screen. But now there is a difference. The name appearing near the top of the display no longer says New Bank as it did before. It now says Long Long Ago. But that's not all. Notice that a strip of numbers now appears to the right of the name Long Long Ago. This tells me that my pedals are now operational for controlling the sequence of register button locations that represent the orchestral changes required for my particular arrangement of the song. But if I press some notes on the keyboard, I realize that I'm not really in the correct mode for playing the song. The keyboard plays as a default piano on both the left and right sides, and there's no auto accompaniment. Don't worry, nothing is wrong. The arrangement simply needs to be activated. Watch carefully when I press pedal number 1 once. The register number 1 button lights up red. The accompaniment button lights up red. The intro number 2 button lights up red. The C style variation button blinks red. The sync start button lights up red, and the start stop button is blinking. Wow, that's a lot of stuff to so instantly activate. But one more thing, and this is important. Notice in the strip of numbers to the right of the name Long Long Ago at the top of the main display that the number 1 is now highlighted. This tells me that the pedal has selected the first segment or portion, formerly called orchestral part, of my performance. Now I'm ready to start playing the arrangement, which I would do as indicated in the sheet music by playing a C chord with the left hand. Let me stop it. I don't actually have to play it for you right now. You can easily see me do that by viewing the appropriate video in my channel. But what I do want to show you is how the pedal works. Every time I press pedal number 1, the red light on the buttons in the registration memory area advances to the next register button position. Notice also how in the strip of numbers appearing to the right of the name long, long ago at the top of the main display window, the highlight changes accordingly. And every time I press pedal number 2, the red light goes back to the previous registration position. Notice as you try this out yourself for the first time that for every press of the pedal, the main screen shows numerous orchestral changes occurring simultaneously. In one case, even the accompaniment style changes. Holy smokes! It would be very challenging, if not impossible, for me to accomplish all of this orchestral variety using another playing technique. This really shows the power of using arrangements created in registration memory for playing my performances. Now watch what happens when I press pedal number 1 to go to the end. If I press it one more time, it automatically returns to the beginning of the piece. It's ready to play again. So that's it. You're ready to play my arrangement of Long, Long Ago. Use the downloaded sheet music and my video in this channel of myself playing it as a guide. Enjoy! And now for Camptown Races. Again, this is an example of an arrangement consisting of more than one registration bank file. I press the two registration select buttons, plus and minus, to bring up the registration storage display window. When I select the Camptown Races folder, the instrument immediately shows me its contents. I see two files, Camptown 1 and Camptown 2. Well, you shouldn't be surprised to hear that to begin the performance, you need to select the file Camptown 1. Notice that this time all 8 register buttons light up blue. And that is exactly what you should expect for the first bank of a multi-bank arrangement. I select the X button in the top right corner of the touchscreen display to return to the main page. I now see the name Camptown 1 and the series of numbers 1 through 8 at the top of the page. I press pedal number 1. Register button number 1 lights up red, and the number 1 in the strip of numbers at the top of the page becomes highlighted. I'm ready to start playing by entering the first chord according to the sheet music. But again, I don't have to actually play the piece, since you can see me do that in another video in this channel. But let's see what happens when I press pedal number 1 multiple times to advance to register number 8. When I press it one more time, the red light goes back to register position number 1. But look, instead of 8 register buttons being lit, now only 7 are. And most importantly, look at the name of the bank at the top of the page. It now says Camptown 2. Do you see what just happened? The instrument automatically opened the second register bank file in the arrangement and activated the first register button in that bank. Isn't that amazing? And it all happens automatically. Thus you see that playing arrangements of more than 8 orchestral parts is not only possible, they are easy to play. Assuming that the person who created the arrangement did a proper job, depending on how many banks an arrangement consists of, the pedal will automatically take you from bank to bank as required. Now, to make you aware of something else, let me press pedal number 1 multiple times to go to the very end of the piece. But now, unlike an arrangement of only one bank, if I press the pedal more times, nothing happens. The pedal seems to be stuck. You can try pressing pedal number 2 to go backwards, but you'll only discover that when it gets back to the first position, it will get stuck again. But don't worry, there's no need to start yelling, "Help! I'm stuck in this bank and I can't get out." Simply press the Registration Bank Plus button. Bingo! You are back in bank number 1 of the arrangement. The instrument is now waiting for me to press pedal number 1 to activate the first register button. Or perhaps I should more correctly say, it's waiting for me to activate the first orchestral part of my arrangement. I invite you to view the downloaded sheet music as well as the video of me playing my Camptown Races arrangement in this channel for guidance. You'll see that this particular arrangement requires many very fast orchestral changes, but with pedal control, they are actually easy to accomplish. To summarize, to use one of my pedal-controlled arrangements, you simply select the file representing it, or the file representing the first bank of it, press pedal number 1 once, then start playing. Continue pressing the pedal as indicated in the sheet music as you progress through playing the piece. Well, that's pretty well it. I do hope that by providing these orchestrated versions of many of the standard beginner-level practice pieces that appear in most piano method books, other music hobbyists like myself will find their necessary practice work to be a bit more pleasant, and hopefully encourage them to do more of it. And if you do find them useful, please give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel to receive notice whenever I upload a new piece. I wish you success with your music.